Welcome to the Concrete Podcast, where we bring together the people who design it, produce it, place it, and build with it every day. Our goal is simple: to unify the concrete industry by sharing real conversations about materials, methods, and the challenges we're all working to solve. From ready-mix producers, contractors, engineers, researchers, and innovators, this podcast is about learning from each other and pushing our industry forward. Hello, and welcome to the Concrete Industry Podcast. I'm Joe Shetterley, here with my host,
Joel Cookston. Good morning.
And the first thing we're going to do today is give a big shout out to Whitehead Construction here in Indiana. They're in Columbia City. We'd like to thank you for all that you do for the industry and keep up the great work.
Absolutely. Good folks.
It is my pleasure today to introduce a guy I've been following for quite some time. I fell in love with his Facebook page, Concrete Everything, Share Your Knowledge. And if you're not on it, get on it. There's a lot of information, a lot of pros on there. So today, I have the pleasure to welcome AJ Rodriguez.
Good morning, sir.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
So first, I want to start out.
Hold on, I want to interrupt something.
Okay.
Because I don't know how many years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I saw a post that you made. I didn't even read what it was, but I noticed your Whiteman brand new writer had an autism awareness sticker on there. That's the only question I want to know about that whole post. So tell us a little bit about that first.
So,
because I'm involved big time in autism awareness.
So E5, as I said in the first podcast, is only here because of one purpose. And that purpose is Hannah Marie Shetterley. Hannah Marie Shetterley is my daughter. She is nonverbal. She cannot talk or communicate. She has to have 24-hour care. She has autism and mild mental retardation. Autism has robbed my family of a lot of things. But what it did do was give me a purpose. And I noticed that my purpose in life was to help others that have this same issue. I just found that concrete was going to be my platform to help other people. Whether I fought autism or other families fought another problem, I wanted to be there to help. And I wanted E5 to be a conduit to eventually create a foundation to help many people in the industry and outside of the industry. So E5 exists to help those families in autism or with addiction or Alzheimer's or anything. E5 is set up to be the tugboat that's going to pull a foundation in to help many people. And that is a long story because the foundation exists today and it's going to be built soon. And E5 is what funds it and what gives back to the concrete industry and to the autism communities. That is why we do what we do every day. It's not to build another admixture company. It's really built to give finishers the purpose and that let them know that they are important. They are the reason the industry is here. And they are my passion. The concrete finishers are my brothers and my sisters. And I felt like we have been overlooked and trodden and oppressed because we have a lot to offer and we're not being heard. So I want this company to give a voice to each and every finisher that is out there. That's why we exist today.
Yes, sir.
It's the only reason I do what I do, man.
Love it.
So, yeah, autism is, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from it. And it's taught me a lot about concrete, AJ.
Definitely.
And we started a rewards program and how that autism that signs get on those machines is because those machines are free to concrete finishers that I buy and give to them once they hit a certain plateau with E5. So if they pour a certain amount of yards, then I go, what do you want? What machine do you want? What tool do you want? And then we wrap it all up to pay homage to that autism.
Bring awareness.
We just give it to them. Wilhelm Construction got a 10-foot rider all dressed up a few years ago. And then Trace Construction got a couple of them. And
Tout Brothers,
it is,
Colorado.
Yeah, Tout Brothers. It is absolutely an honor when I can go give a piece of equipment or whatever that is to that contractor to let them know you just did something awesome. You just didn't know.
And to see that in the field working, oh man,
and let finishers look up at it and say, there's a purpose I'm working for.
Or ask the question, what is that? What is that? What's that for? And, just
creates conversation.
Connects people. We're all dealing with something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for asking, AJ.
No problem.
So what's your connectivity to the autism community? Do you have a story there?
Wrestling for autism awareness, and been through those tournaments many, many times. I know a lot of the chair people that are on it, and it's just a great program. You know,
How'd you get connected?
Because my sons all wrestled, and then I coached and I wrestled in high school.
All right.
But then one time we just went to a tournament, and I was like, I started learning about it, and I was like, oh, this is a great purpose of why I love to go to these tournaments. I mean, I've even gone to tournaments when my kids were out of, off to college.
Right.
And I've just gone just to support it. Go pay the door fee and go in, watch some wrestling, talk to coaches, of course, and But
I noticed the jacket. I figured.
Yes, sir.
You're a big supporter.
Big time supporter of USA Wrestling.
All right.
Well, on that note, I'd also like to know how E5 can help support the autism wrestling community.
I'll put you in touch with them. Definitely.
That's what we're here for.
There's a lot of connections between wrestling and concrete.
Big time.
So
Wrestle the concrete by yourself, or
right. What'd you get into first, wrestling or concrete?
excuse me?
What did you get into first? Was it wrestling?
Wrestling, for sure. Yeah.
And
Boxed all my life since I was 5. Got into wrestling when I was in high school.
All right.
Then when my kids started wrestling, I didn't want them to wrestle because they had to cut weight. I remember cutting weight from 32 down to 12, and skin's hanging off. Right. And I was like, I'm not going to let my kids do it. And one day they said, we got to go. And I said, okay. And the next day, I was the coach. They asked me to coach me. That's the very first night.
Very nice.
I was like, okay, I got to get some wrestling shoes.
Yeah. It's amazing what our kids pull us into, regardless if we want them to do that or not.
Yeah.
Well, my question is, how did you get into concrete?
My best friend, he passed away. We were in high school, and all we did, his father owned a big concrete company. And his father, we said we were doing concrete, but all we were doing was going around putting caution tape up in the summertime. And brooming once in a while, because back then you can broom 2 hours later.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You had to wait for that,
That's something.
And now times have changed.
Right.
And then
a little bit different.
Then didn't go to college or anything like that. And I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? I think I have concrete experience. So I saw an ad in the paper, and I was like, okay, finisher. Okay, let me see.
I mean, I put up caution tape, and
then I said, okay, what tools do I need? And they said, you need a mag. I was like, what the hell's a mag? So I called Gino's dad, John, in Colorado. I was like, hey, what do I do? What do I need?
What's a mag?
What's a mag?
Yeah.
What's a float? He said, float, your hand float. And I was like, okay, cool. And just kind of start from there. And then I wanted to be the best of the best. And then within a year, I was a foreman.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it happened fast because I'm big about competition. I want to go. I want to be the best of the best. Like all this stuff that we were talking about earlier, it's never going to catch up in my brain. There's way too much information.
There is, yes. That's why we all got to be specialists in something, right?
Yes,
so we can all bring something to the table and kind of help the solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Where was who's the first company you went to work for?
First company I went to work for? Oh, man, I can't remember.
Was it like a small?
No, it was a small residential company.
Was it here in Indiana or was it
in Illinois?
Illinois?
Yeah. I can't even remember the name of it.
So sidewalks, driveways.
Yeah, basements and everything. I remember my very first pour. I grabbed a come along and I jumped down there and I was going at it. I didn't even know what the hell I was doing, honestly.
But
and then they said,
like
"Don't cover up the line. That's where it goes." And I said, "Yes, I know." And then it just kind of went from there.
Yeah, I know.
I was.
And so one thing led to another. You became a foreman.
Became a foreman.
Okay.
And then eventually they wanted me to be a finisher. And I was like, I don't want to be a finisher. Fuck that. Sorry about the language.
No.
And
let her rip, bro.
All of a sudden they were like, we want you to be a finisher. And I'm like, man, I don't know. So then I started getting into the finishing side because I already knew how to float and everything, but I didn't want to be a title finisher.
Right. On your knees all day.
Yeah, I didn't want, because I used to see those guys get yelled at. And back in the old days, you got yelled at. I never got yelled at because I always did good. But some of those guys, I don't even know how they came to work anymore. They had to go home depressed.
Oh, but like humiliated.
Oh, exactly. I don't know how they even woke up for work. I mean, honestly, I used to feel sorry for those guys. Then once I became a foreman, I was like, I'm never going to yell at people. Nice. Once in a while, I get angry, but
of course, yeah, you got to set the tone.
It's part. You got to go with the flow. Okay, come on, guys, let's go. So.
Well, I can identify with that humiliation because I was raised in that type of group of the union side that my father came from, and there was days that you felt humiliated, but I tell you what, once I felt it, I never did it again.
Oh, yeah.
Straight and right.
Change.
And it never happened to me, but I saw what was happening to those guys. I'm like, it's not going to happen to me. And then I'm a fighter. And I'm like, no, I ain't gonna have nobody yelling at me like that. They won't like it.
Right.
So
No.
it is what it is.
So from the residential company then?
Got into commercial by accident because I went to help a buddy do a side job. And the whole company was there, Concrete by Wagner, big company in Illinois. And I went to do a side job, and then I was stopped by his job, and the whole company from Wagner was there all helping him out because it was his house. One of the guys' houses, one of the foremen's. And I just jumped in there. Nobody knew anything. And then owner came. He said, hey, you want a job? And I was like, no, I got a job. I'm a foreman. I said, unless you got a foreman position, maybe we'll talk about it. And then it just kind of evolved from there. Called him up about a week later, and then he said, okay. I actually sent one of my friends, Bill Flanagan, he's like my brother, over there to check it out first.
Yeah,
you know,
like what am I getting into here?
Yeah, exactly. And then he called me and he's like, yeah, come on in. And then within a week, I had my own truck and they give me a blueprint. Here you go. There's your guys. There's a lumber truck. There's a tool truck, and just kind of flew from there.
All right. So went into commercial work.
Right in
large commercial.
Large commercial work. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember my first big building that I was in charge of was 750,000 square feet.
No way.
And, you know, I'm used to, 20-yard basements and shit,
Right.
Yeah. And I was like, okay.
Oh, heavens.
Oh, and they want me to do curb
piece
now?
by
Okay,
piece.
so then I learned curb real quick, how to shape it, and then go from there to there to there to there to there to there to there. And then, when I got to some place, and then I can see that there was no more, I can't go any higher there. And I want to learn more. And it's going to be the same thing. And then I just look around, and I think I'm going to try that. That's why I know every aspect of concrete. I'm fluent in every aspect of concrete. You tell me anything about concrete, I could go out there and finish it and get it done.
Yeah.
So from footings, foundations, to high rises, to heavy highway paving, curb and gutter. I mean, I've done windmill farms, substations. I've traveled the nation for work, running work. It just turned into a big thing.
And that was all with that same company?
No, I kind of moved around.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I did that. And a lot of people need to understand that when you work for the same company for a long time, you only know one way.
Yep.
Unless another new guy comes in. But then if you go, you can take a little bit of each company. You can just go to 3 or 4 companies. It don't matter. Yeah. I'm not saying to jump your ship, but you learn something, and then pretty soon you can put it together for yourself. And you're like, holy cow, now I'm even better.
It's that community of finishers that then, whether, whatever pocket you're in the country, the weather's different, material's different, right? And you can learn from everybody.
Yes, sir.
That's why, obviously. So this kind of brings us to the fact with all the community talk and community forums, what started your Facebook page? What got you to the point where, like, hey, you know what? I'm going to start this thing to get people talking, to get people together. Kind of like what you did was gathering information from different companies across the nation. Like, you were like, was that the connection that you kind of saw different people?
I only got on Facebook because I wanted to follow all my coaches and all the wrestlers I coached over the years, because everybody started leaving to go to high school and then to college. And then I was like, I'm going to use Facebook as a platform because I wasn't a social media guy.
Right.
And then I found Concrete page. A page. And I used to hate that thing. I mean, it was so racist and people just cutting each other down. Nobody wanted to
Negative
teach.
comments, yeah.
So then every Tuesday night I started getting a little following of guys. And I'd go in one post, and then they'd know which post I was in. I'd tag a couple guys. All of a sudden, we'd take over an entire post, and it had nothing to do with that post. Yeah. It was just that's just our platform to talk.
Yeah.
And then I used to just, I used to hate that page with the passion, just because, especially the racist and the admins, the moderators, they didn't do anything about anything at all. They just let it run free for all.
Run free crap.
And then there was a dark and stormy Tuesday night, just like on a Snoopy cartoon. I said, hey guys, I'm going to start a page. I don't care if we got 100 people, 1,000 people, I don't care. But let's go do this the right way. And then within the first couple of days, there was 1,000 people, and then it just kept going. Now we're at 305,000 members.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that, there's not a lot of people, but there's people on it that are being ding-dongs.
Yep.
But then we control them. We can I put them in check, or I kindly excuse it for the page.
Right.
That's how it works.
That's a lot of moderating in this day and age.
Yeah, and then I don't even get to see half the stuff.
Yeah.
Most people don't even get to see half the stuff. We got, what was it, last it was like 8 million viewers in the last 28 days. It was an insane amount of viewers.
Right. Which is great for that sort of platform.
Yeah, but
on the opposite side of that, when you're trying to manage all the content and the negative postings and the AI is everywhere now.
Yeah.
I mean,
we try to control a lot of the AI stuff too, because we don't know what's actually, I don't know. That's a different topic.
And so you started that when? What year?
I think it's June 12th, 2017.
2017.
My gosh. Come on.
It was an accident, but
It was a good accident.
yeah, sometimes
great
things
accident.
things happen for a reason.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, from your small little group of people that were obviously, you connected on the page that you didn't like. You're like, let's start something new. And that was 9 years ago.
Oh, I've never heard it said like that.
9 years
9 years ago.
9 years ago, 300,000
Long
people
time.
ago.
It's crazy.
Now, I'm going to take you back to a little bit of your finishing time. Who was some of your ready mix producers you dealt with up there? Was it Ozinga?
Ozinga,
Smith?
Prairies, Smith for Indiana, but that's it. But Ozinga Prairie, then we used to have one called Valley. I think they closed down too, but that was good concrete. And Welsh, and a lot of little mom and pop ones also.
Now, when back in, I'm gonna split the time period. We got the 1L season, and then we got the non-1L season. In your mind back then, there was a lot less thinking.
We didn't think about nothing.
We just ordered and went.
I need mixed design 1897. Give me 300 yards.
And think about it.
Nothing. I need 80 yards an hour. That's all you ordered. It's like, I need a 4-inch lump. That's about it.
And to be honest with you, it was rare to kind of like go back and really be talking about issues.
No, if something happened, it was probably on the finisher's end, honestly.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, okay, right, my fault.
And back then, we used to think, well, there's scientists behind all the red mix. So
They're giving us
we're
the
just
best
finishers
mix.
and laborers. How are we supposed to, know what's going on? Just send us what you think is good.
What's your specs?
What's a house mix? A house mix, we don't even know what's in there. But, and then
It'll work.
Yeah.
And it finished, and it wasn't a whole lot of problems.
Yep.
There wasn't all this curing talk.
Yeah.
Concrete just cured on its own. You finished it with good finishing practices. You moved on to the next one, and you never thought about.
If they wanted some kind of sealer, they paid for that.
Yeah.
Right. And most people didn't take it, And a lot of people say, like steel trawl, no Fresno and stuff. 98% of all the residential flat work, a lot of it, like all the driveways and everything, they have all been Fresnoed and steel trawl, and that's in freeze-thaw conditions.
Right.
Put the right air in, got the right mix, everything's good.
Well, the goalpost was definitely wider back then than it is today. And hey, even when I was finishing, there was you're not supposed to run a trowel machine on that outside paving.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's
all
like,
the air.
we knew what we could get by with traditional Portland cement. Like we knew its threshold.
All about timing.
And there you go. You just said the key word. Everything's about timing. Yeah. Everything. So then when 1L comes in, oh dear God, what is going on? Timing's all out of whack. Even though, that was my biggest problem with the 1L situation. 2 years before it come in, because I've been on this side now, the chemical side, I was able to get the 1L cements before it was become public. So I started testing it way back then. And my brother Ted, you guys met at the wrestling.
Yes, sir.
So Ted was getting ready to do a couple jobs, and he's going, "Hey, Joe, I got these big jobs." And I'm like, "All right, little brother, let me see the mix design." Well, I start looking at mix design. They start putting in these new cements and all this stuff. And I'm like, time out. I said, "Little brother, you're getting ready to walk into a contract that you're getting ready to fund a job. Now, this is not a little job. This is a big job. And you're the bank, because you're not going to get paid 30, 40, 60, whatever those days are, but you're going to be holding the bank. And if there's issues, there's issues." That's what pulled me in the 1L situation. I started testing it, and immediately, as soon as I started testing it, I seen how much water it needed. I seen the abrasion numbers start going down. And then I started looking at it. I said, "Little brother, I would reject this mix design. I would be telling them, get you this mix, the back to the Portland." Well, that's when they said, "There is no more Portland. You got what you got." Then if it wasn't for Ted and I kind of walking through that, renegotiating a contract with some of the things, that would have been devastating to him at that time. So I got a good look at 1L, and then all of a sudden I started to make a push like, hey, these concrete finishers are going to feel the wrath of this if we don't put some protection, because I can hear it now. all the producers and everybody are going to be saying, you didn't cure it right. You put water on the surface. You did the, it's always the finisher's fault. It's never their fault.
I mean, honestly, you know, probably shouldn't admit this, but I remember we would do some big outside, you know, 30,000 square foot slabs, open deck. And we'd actually dump 55 gallons of water on just to bring it back to life. Never had an issue.
Never.
You know, we always bless it. Water, anytime you need water.
Right. Bring it back, get the cream out.
Now, and then the other thing that reminds me of, we didn't even know it was coming to us. All of a sudden, we started feeling it in the concrete. We didn't know what the hell was going on. What's going on, guys? We suck. You know, we thought we were the ones that
problem.
We didn't even know about it that was coming, you know, that they were changing everything.
No.
And then all of a sudden, we started having problems and causing tension on jobs because, well, dude, what happened to you? You used to be really badass. Oh, I can't even close this shit up.
What am I doing? Well, that was what we seen it on a bridge down on downtown I-65 split. Well, that's where we seen it because it immediately went from type 1 to the very next bridge went to 1L.
During the job.
Instantly.
Oh, really?
And all of a sudden,
During the job.
the bridge contractor's like, this stuff's drying up. This is doing this. The water demand. Well, then all of a sudden the brakes went down, and then all of a sudden they wanted to put more cement in. And it was like, what in the world just happened? Well, when you start incorporating more limestone, things start getting out of whack. Chemistry, unfortunately, I heard it last night on your round table, and I heard it says, do concrete finishers now have to become chemists?
Pretty much, honestly.
Well, to be honest with you, yes, we have to.
To a degree.
Yeah, and we got to know, and see, that's the thing. Regular chemistry is not the same as concrete chemistry.
Right.
Concrete chemistry is different than real chemistry. It really becomes pretty simple for us because we already are geared to build. We know the footings go in, and we know this goes in. Chemistry is the same way in the concrete world. It took me about 5 years to really start to understand the chemistry. Once I did, it's like, all right, now I know how to put these pieces together. Then that's where I wanted E5 to take that knowledge and say, all right, finishers, this is what you're going to do, but you're going to get some major push because producers are not going to want to change. Right. They want to protect themselves, insulated, and they want to have a better, they want higher protections in PSI, and they want to be able to use.
They're trying to hit their strength. Absolutely.
They want to use, you didn't cure it right. That is the number one thing I hear all the time.
We never used to cure anything. And if you wanted to bleach out, you want to bleach out, you just tell the homeowner just sprinkle water on it.
Turn white.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, so now we're in this predicament, and I'm glad you started your page because without pages like this, we wouldn't be able to talk about our frustrations.
Right.
We wouldn't be able to put out what the problems are issue because I believe pages like yours is now starting to make things aware to the corporate worlds that, hey, listen, guys, you guys just can't keep.
It's a larger issue than just in a certain region or certain group of people.
Huge.
Right.
Yeah. Then they started talking about, what was it, Europe last night, that they use even more?
Correct.
I didn't even know that.
There's a big difference there.
Well, I wanted to answer
Joke
that
and
'cause
talk
I was in the kitchen going,
I joke and talk about it in the lane.
because I studied the 1L situation over in Europe, and I got that always when I was in a problem, I would get the cement manufacturer going, well, we've been doing this in Europe for 30 years. And they haven't. This is what you've done. You have 85 pages of manufacturing specs of cement, and the United States has 2. Your manufacturing process over there is different than over here.
Tire standards.
The one thing that's different in Europe than the United States is this fact. The fact over there is that they will not allow less than 75% calcium carbonate, which is pure limestone. In the United States, we did the corporate move. They put in the language 70% carbonate and only 40% calcium carbonate. That's a big difference in manufacturing. That means the 30% of that 70 in our ASTM is now whatever they want it to be, and they don't have to tell you. So now you're blinded. So when you're out there finishing and all these finishers are running around trying to figure out what to do, well, you better know what that piece is before you know how to fix it. So we're just blind leading the blind.
So explain to obviously the viewers and all of us that maybe don't know that level of chemistry knowledge, calcium carbonate versus carbonate.
Calcium carbonate is just pure limestone. It's just limestone that we would use to blend in and make the clinker. It's
So not as reactive as the calcium carbonate, right? So you're saying you're
Correct.
putting in just inert material
we're just putting it inert material.
into cement.
But the 30% of the carbonates that they're allowed to put in the United States cement manufacturing can be dolomite, it can be CKD dust, it can be potassium carbonates and sodium carbonates. Those things should not even be in concrete, but they're allowed to because
of that
it's regulated by
classification,
595.
that classification.
So what that affects people like me and AJ in the field, when those things come to the top and we're seeing massive delaminations, we're seeing scaling, that's those fine particles that have
Migrated
to the surface,
bleed water.
and there's no amount of sealer, there's no amount of wet cure that's going to bind those fines up
to the surface.
to the surface.
They want to come off. They want to
can't
come out.
bind it. So then that needs different technologies.
So basically, for finisher terms,
Yeah.
it's evaporating out. It needs somewhere to go, so it's popping the top.
It's bringing it up, and you know they talk about adding more water to the mix. Yes, it needs more water,
But
but when you got golf ball size chemistry particles, which we'll call that the cement, and then we've got like BBs all around it, which is the fines of the 1L cement that have not been bound or locked
the
up. Carbonates
okay.
can't have anything to bound, and then that bleed water line goes right underneath it. First freeze thaw gets all that little scaling. It's not bound to anything. It can't wet out.
What about DLAM non freestall, right? That
Well, that's where, you know, us finishers, we like to finish and we like to burn things in.
Burn it in.
I love to burn.
So you
There's
create a
nothing
gap.
burning. Well, there's that bleed rate change, and I heard it yesterday on the roundtable. There's a bleed rate issue, and that timing of that issue, that bleed rate, is hard to predict, I should say. But when we start
Inconsistent.
yeah, when we start burning those things in, those fines are not. They can't bind anything because they're not wetted out. You have to have water to bind things. And that's just getting into surface level chemistries. But unfortunately, it's stuff that's finishers now got to worry about.
right.
Like there's no like, here, spray Eucabar on, I'll spray this on. Yeah, well, tell you what, some of those are problematic when you've got that level of fine particles to deal with. It shouldn't even be in our concrete. I can tell you, AJ, there's one company up in your neck of the woods that used to truck out 36 semi-loads of CKD dust. Now that the ASTM 595 is now in play, those trucks are now sold, and all that material goes back into your cement.
CKD dust.
Cement kiln dust.
Okay.
It's the dust that flies into the flue and they collect. It's very fine particles. It was never allowed in our concrete.
So they
now under 595,
cleaned out the flues,
and they can put it in.
trucked it out, but now you're saying they're not trucking out
They
the
are not trucking it out.
flue dust.
Nope. And they're putting it back into your concrete. I heard also on your panel last night, which was very interesting. It was Sam. I like Sam. He's a pretty cool cat.
Yeah, he's funny as heck.
I'd love to have a conversation with him, but
oh man,
he's a great guy. But one thing he did say that a lot of people don't catch on to is that these cement kilns burn hazardous material, rubber tires, biomedical, for fuel.
Yeah.
Remember one thing about chemistry: you cannot burn chemistry away, and it's never not going to exist. Those fine particles are going to attach themselves to something. Rubber tires and biomedical and sodium chlorides all bound to that cement. All eventually affects you as a finisher.
It's like charcoal in a hamburger. I mean, you know, you taste the charcoal in that.
And that's what I'm a little upset over the industry, is because that information should be at our disposal so that me, AJ, and everybody that's in the field can make accurate decisions and be able to fix that stuff.
Well, that's the key right there. Can you fix it once you're handed it?
That's why
You can't.
you're just pulling it out. ain't you?
It's that kind
So
of
that's
thing.
why the traditional side of finishers, even myself, I fight this every day, you know, because we've been doing it for so long, man. We knew how to handle type 1. Like you said, we just go out there and pour concrete. Now all of a sudden, we got to think about these things. And then we actually got to go like,
scared to work. You're scared.
right.
You're scared.
to work.
Scared.
Yeah.
And I'm a badass. That's all I gotta say. And I'm a complete badass in concrete, or I used to be when I was younger. But Now I was like, oh man. I mean, I know of a $40,000 stamp patio around the pool coming up, and it's supposed to go in July. And I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe we should go do this in pavers for this until we figure this out.
Right.
Because you're spending $40,000. And
Well, you know that then you're on the hook, right? If something happens and I do everything right, and that customer calls me back and they've got pops coming out,
it's on that person that installed it.
yeah.
I have to agree with you on that because the other day I had a guy come up and said, hey, man, I'm on a patio on back of my thing. I'm thinking about doing stamp work. And I said, brother, I'll tell you what, and I'll be honest with you. I'd go look at brick pavers.
I swear to God, I told it.
I said, I hate to say that.
Oh, the concrete podcast. That's not something we should say, but you know.
Well, no, that's how scary it is.
But that's how scary
that's
it
just
is
an
for
example.
finishers.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like
People
we
losing
know
their butts.
we know how to finish concrete. It's not that we don't know.
Right.
It's that now we look at concrete and go, I'm really nervous about touching that yard.
It's a crapshoot.
yeah.
Because I'm just like everything I know knowledge.
And even if you know chemistry, you know the calcium carbonates versus the carbon. I mean, you know all this. You arm yourself with this knowledge. Can you really change it?
Yes, and this is where I thank God for Indiana DOT. They put the clamp down on the cement manufacturers and held them at 10%. You're not going over. I thank God for them because they actually got it to stop. Like, we're not going above 10% in NDOT work, which gave us a time and point now to go, okay, now how can we shore this up now and fix it? Well, how does that help the commercial world? Well, because they're not going to produce two different types because it costs too much money.
Right.
So the state of Indiana did all of us contractors in Indiana a huge solid. Absolutely. And then they stopped that bleed that we're only at 10% because they was wanting to take it to 15. Could you imagine 5% more in this? It would be a disaster. So now at the time, we're able to stop, grab, figure out a few things, change these mixed designs and aggregate distributions to slow this issue down that we're having. And it's starting to take hold. It's just somewhere on the line.
Have you heard of anything from either your forum or anywhere else in the country that they're talking about the percentage?
No, last night and ever since I got into this, you know, when we came up with doing this, I didn't know any of the technical terms. All of a sudden, all these guys were just throwing out tons of initials, percentage rates, and we're like,
right.
What in the hell are you guys even talking about?
Right.
Because you know, we're talking about how crappy the stuff is today. But I remember back in the day, I mean, you pour a 3,000 psi footing, and then you go pour a pad with that same mix because you got some extra left over.
Right.
It's still
No
perfect.
big deal. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know how to.
There's no
explain it,
grace for these guys anymore. There's literally no grace. And that's what's been taken away from us was the grace. And
People are going to start. There's a lot of lawsuits happening already towards contractors from homeowners and other GCs and stuff like that.
Right.
And eventually, everybody's going to get pissed. There's going to be people losing their jobs because, well, you screwed that up. Dude,
It wasn't me. Yeah.
How was it me, man?
Right.
You know, the foreman's going to get yelled at.
Right.
And then it's just going to go down the line. And then eventually,
Something's got to happen.
Oh,
Something's got to
definitely.
change. You know, when a group of people are affected that negatively in an industry, there's going to be an uprise, an uproar. You know, that something's got to change. Something's got to. You know, we always talk about coming to the table, and yeah, everybody can come to the table, but as long as there's truth being told around that table, and sometimes, you know, a little bit of truth is maybe held back.
Oh, I would agree. There's a lot of being held back.
Well,
what
I
you
watched
did
that.
last night was good.
Yeah, it's a good start.
It's a great start. Getting everybody to talk and create the unity. And I hear, how can we change this? I want finishers to know we can change this. Our voice has been suppressed for so long, we forgot we had one. And it was said many times, we buy the concrete. You buy the concrete. Why in the world is a producer telling me what I need?
yep.
It's my concrete. I'm buying it. I'm on the hook for it regardless.
And the producer's at the mercy too. Let's give them a little bit of grace because they're at the mercy of their material supplier.
Well,
They are.
But then, sorry to interrupt you, but there's a lot of ready mix companies all over the United States that I've been hearing about that got rid of the Type 1L. and they went back to normal.
Yeah.
So how are they able to do that, and where are they getting it from?
Right.
So let's make the whole change about that. You know,
Okay,
let's
so
go.
We
let
know
me
some
answer
folks.
that. So
Yep.
like Texas right now, Texas is almost all back to one, type 1, 2.
Is it really?
Yeah, and it's like, why? Because they were having massive issues.
And they have the ports there in Texas to get it, right?
There is still companies
Globally.
Silva, S-I-L-V-A. I think it's Silva.
Sylvie.
Is producing and importing type 1, type 2. They're bringing rail cars all the way across your neck of the woods and everything and bringing it in. They're putting it back in people's
Hands.
hands
Yeah.
to be used.
But it's an international product, correct?
it's still international.
Right.
It's still better than what we're doing here. At least you're getting more of the clinker than less than the dilution. I mean,
So you're paying a little bit
a
more.
limp along OPC is better than a 1L. I mean,
Ayo.
just call it what it is.
Right.
I mean, I'll deal with that every day.
Pay a little bit more if you have to.
Yeah, pay a little bit more if you got to. There's rumors here in our neck of the woods that type 1's going to be available again.
Nice.
It's there. I got a pretty good source that's saying there's ports, little terminals coming in to bring it back. Now it's imported, but yet again, man, if I can get a little bit of something that don't cause me callbacks or make me scared of pulling a patio.
Right. Stand patio.
So since this all has to do with EPA and stuff like that and government, is it kind of shouldn't be talked about? Or, I mean, kind of illegal? Because what explain to a finisher,
I mean, from my perspective,
why can't we just go back to using the shit?
Right.
You know, honestly.
It's not necessarily government regulated.
Not now.
well,
Not now.
I thought it was about the green stuff.
Trump got rid
It
of it.
is, but it's not
Trump
based
got
on
rid
our
of it.
government. They're not regulating, at least my understanding, and apologies if I'm wrong, but it's not regulated from the top. They saw the regulation coming, and then they started changing it amongst themselves, right? All cement companies probably got together and say, hey, we see this coming. Let's start changing our material set,
Well,
diluting it.
I got in trouble in a meeting for saying this exact same thing, so I almost say it again. Look at the cement industry. They have gray powder. Well, who has white powder? That's cartel. Okay, it's no different than the cocaine cartel. They get you all hooked on 99%. And then what do they do once they get that geographical area hooked?
Chop it up.
Cut her down, boys,
it
but
up.
we're going to make more money. So the cement industry is not doing anything different. They've seen a path through the government, through greenwashing, to go, man, we can add back all of our trash, remove all that money of dumping it into a landfill, and then we can take that money and then we'll charge more because we're green under this 2050.
Or charge the same and make more.
And then
Because you're diluting.
we're
your
diluting it, and then we'll just go ahead and watch our stocks go up. But what they didn't plan on was people getting so upset, and then Indiana comes in and caps at 10%. Well, they wanted to be 15%. How much money did they just lose?
Right.
I lost a lot. It's all about money for these guys, and that money is driven by the corporate worlds overseas, then driven here at home. Then ultimately, everyone that is paying for this is you, me, and every finisher was on your page last night is paying for exactly so that they can boost their profits. That is the only reason this stuff's here.
It's sad.
It is. It's extremely sad because you're killing the working man, and it's time for the working man to say enough's enough. When I get done with this podcast today, I'm going to hand AJ a letter, and I want you to share this letter when we're done. And you can share it with every finisher, because I think everybody needs to copy, paste it, and send this, because I've been doing it now for 6 months. We can do something, but we need to do it in numbers together. And I believe your page and your platform and your voice can help us get there. And I'm here to support you.
And to make a positive change.
Absolutely.
In the industry. So are you still finishing these days?
No, I recently retired.
All right.
Yeah,
Good
from
for
the
you.
youth.
Good for you, man.
And had some heart problems like 2 years ago. So then I slowed down a lot.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden my hip went bad, like fast. And I had a hip replacement in September. And I'm only 55 years old.
Yeah.
That's all that struck.
Well, you're a concrete guy. That's why.
I was from all those heavy ass pouches
Right.
and being a dumbass running around.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But
You
made
got
me
the
a good
concrete
living.
shoulder lean that Joe's got. Got the drop shoulder from striking off.
So you're just retired. I'll be darned.
Managing the community.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keeping the conversations lively. Wow. Are you the only one that manages the page? You got.
So we have 62 total of admin and moderators.
All right.
Yep.
Good for you.
So we could use a lot more, but
Yeah.
but people get gung ho. They'll come in for a while. Oh yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then eventually they just kind of fade away.
Right.
So we're always, we've replaced some people,
Okay.
but it's just,
So what's the next evolution? Obviously, you're very competitive in wrestling, in concrete, in Facebook pages. Do you have anything next evolution of AJ?
not really.
All right. Ride the wave.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
see what happens. Because I never even expected the page to do this. Never expected to do anything, at all except for keep working.
Right.
And
Do you find fulfillment in the community, the conversations, getting people together, like the thing you did yesterday?
well, yeah, and it comes together. It's like, we have an admin group also page where we control everything that happens in the big page. It's kind of like a company. We run this like a company, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's the way I wanted it from the beginning. And then I just surrounded myself with great people, and then it just took off from there.
Common theme. Got to have good people.
You got to have good people. That's outstanding.
It's all who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Absolutely.
So manage the page, build the community more. The thing you did yesterday, the virtual roundtable. How many of those have you done in the past?
Well, we've done a lot of lives. I can't even count now.
Okay.
But, some like Mike Griffin, he'll come up with the topic, and then we'll tweak that topic. And then Rocky's just an amazing host. I mean, that guy, he's badass. He's really good at it. He came from his MMA background and a jiu-jitsu black belt and being a badass concrete guy. And then he started doing commentary at MMA events. And so he's just natural at it. The very first time I was like, Rocky, we should do a live way back when. I'm talking a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then so we did some simple ones, and then we kind of all got busy, and then we started bringing them back again. And, somebody has a topic we want to talk about, we'll talk about it.
Right.
We'll find the correct people. Like we gathered a great group last night on that panel and thought about it. People suggested people, and it just blew up.
Yeah.
And I bet there's a lot of guys that want to be on that panel now because they watched it.
Oh, yeah.
Some people, and I don't even think very many people have, the majority, because, you see the number 305,000 members, but how many actually catch that post?
Yeah.
And catch that post, like some of the silliest posts that could be about nothing, honestly. And they're getting like 1.4 million views.
Right.
And then something really important might only get 500.
Yeah.
And it's like,
It's
why
the
is it
entertainment
like
value.
that? Yeah.
Right. It's the entertainment value.
I mean, you could just post a picture and you'll get 10,000 comments.
Yeah.
It's a stupid picture.
Right.
It's like, I don't read it.
So historically, all these roundtables have been virtual.
All lives
in their own location.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody's, so either we used to start just with Rocky just doing live. So there'd only be 2 people, and then it got to 3 people. And then him and Mike, somebody suggested try a Zoom meeting to get more people on because we could only do so much with Facebook. So we're even evolving. Rocky's still tweaking how to do that Zoom, as a host.
Yep.
And I don't want to be on them. I've been on them.
Yeah.
Because I have a big mouth and I like to talk. Right now I'm being kind of shy. But like if we start talking,
Don't be shy,
like,
brother. Just let her
Yeah,
rip.
come on.
No, in that, like in that live last night, I had so many questions. That's why I want to sit back and watch what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
And I type certain questions. I write stuff down. So then we can further move that along too, to the next stage, because we're already talking. We're going to do this probably every month with the same panel and other people just to keep the awareness going. And maybe even a weekly series on just that Type 1L panel. So we got the guys that are willing to do it. So.
I mean, we've all been to enough trade shows, World of Concrete, association groups, and I feel like all the ones that I've been to, yes, there's good conversations, good points being made, good questions, but I feel like I leave with more questions more often than not, you know, or it's just a big dog and pony show where, yeah, it's fun to go and hang out with the boys and, you know, see cool machines. But, you know, things like what you're talking about, I could see them honestly being a road show. You know, people want to come to these events, and not just because virtual is fantastic, right? I mean, it's cheap, right? We can all be in our own locations and all get together, sit on our couches or whatever. But, you know, when we all get together and we all can talk to each other, shake each other's hand, look each other in the eye. I mean, I mean, I'm a marketing guy, so I mean, I could see this type of thing going as a road show where folks want to come and you know, you just round table and talk into smaller groups of people, you know, and get more questions and answers, and you know, I mean, that's where I could see it going. But
It's probably going to
Especially
happen.
with Rocky.
Yeah.
Dude, I can see that with him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Rocky's already doing it for, I don't know if we're supposed to name company names. and
Nah,
stuff
you're
like
good.
that.
Go ahead, man.
For Decocrete.
yeah,
You know, it's a great company. I love that guy. I love Jason Geyser. He's the owner. Now Rocky's on the road doing that on the Rocky Road Show.
all right.
So, but all he's doing with that is just going to interview, talk guys on jobs, and you know, talk about this company and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But with that idea, and we've already kind of talked about that.
Yeah.
But you know, going on a road show, doing seminars and stuff like that.
Right.
That's a big step.
It is. It is.
But
It's more
if we get the right people to do it, and the right backing,
yeah.
you know, that's the most important part. You know, because you know, and it's all about figuring out times. Times is the hardest. Dates and times are the hardest thing. You know, like they'll. I don't know why a lot of these concrete supply houses, they'll do a show on a Wednesday at 9 a.m. Dude, everybody's at fucking work, man.
Right.
You know what? No wonder why nobody came. I feel sorry for all these salesmen and you know, all these reps.
All the food that got out, no one's gonna eat it.
All the food's still there at the end of the day.
Right.
I'm like, why don't you guys do it on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday? You know, something.
Right.
You know,
Or an evening. I mean, yeah, I know.
It's
tough.
There's a time period like in the morning till noon. We're working like we got a lot to do.
and those shows, those shows that those seminars and everything that they put on at the concrete supply houses, it starts at 9 a.m. and they're done at 3 p.m. Like nobody's even off work. Everybody's at work.
Right.
What? Come on. So
exactly.
there's a lot of things that go into trying
That's
to figure something
That's why all
out.
the events are in the winter, right? Because you know, most majority of folk aren't out on the jobs.
I went to a show, Cougar Supply up in Michigan. Beautiful, beautiful supply house. And then I went there, and it was middle of the winter. I can't remember. It was like January, but just so happens that week, for some reason, it was like in the 60s and 70s. So guys were still pouring. They still had an amazing turnout. But there would have been even more people because there was guys mostly coming in their work clothes too. You could see who just got off work. He still got concrete on his boots and his pants, you know, because they wanted to go to
It's
that.
all weather dependent.
Definitely.
Very cool.
Yeah. So for everybody in the audience, it's Rocky France.
Yes.
You guys need to check that guy out. He's very good at what he does.
Yeah.
How did you meet Rocky?
Through the page.
Through the page?
Yeah, and then I tell you what, martial arts and wrestling and sports brings a lot of us together in concrete.
Yeah.
And that's what brought a lot of us together on our page. And then did you know half the guys that are admin and mods, they're former wrestlers or they're in mixed martial arts. It's really weird how we all kind of gravitate towards each other.
Yeah.
You know, and then we probably got like 10,000 wrestlers, coaches, and past referees and stuff like that, or parents of wrestlers. And then the other people are in the other sports, which is amazing because I love all sports. But, you know, you get certain people and you can kind of feel them out by their tendencies and how they talk, how they react, because you can tell somebody has played sports because it gives you a different mentality. That's just my thought, but I think sports are incredible, especially for concrete.
Absolutely.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
teaches you discipline, and you need that.
Yes.
Competitiveness.
You're just going to push through it.
Yep.
Going to get it done.
Yeah. The discipline in sports can translate into concrete very
Big time.
quickly.
Big time.
If you're a disciplined person, then you'll be a good concrete finisher.
100%.
For sure.
Yep.
So I know we've hit on the 1L pretty heavy here. So obviously you've been doing your page for going on 8-9 years. What are some of the other kind of standout postings that or conversations that, I mean, if you can think of any back in the day that you're like, oh man, this thing, or this thing blew up in maybe a bad way. I mean, we love controversial stuff. So if there's anything that you could think of that man, that posting, that conversation. I mean, I know you've seen.
There's probably a million posts, man. But I think one thing is, Ben Bass, he was on the panel last night too. Amazing guy.
We love Ben.
And he actually, he's been a member for like 7 or 8 years on the page. And he was real quiet about it, but then he started seeing everybody's work, with the stamp and everything like that. And our page is what made him start doing stamp, and now he's a pro at stamp.
Yeah.
Because he decided, I'm not going to pour concrete anymore. I'm going to be an artist and do stamp work. Cool. And so that's happening with a lot of people. People are like gaining knowledge. And that's what I wanted to do, was share knowledge.
Yeah.
And they're taking it to another level. And then all of a sudden, this guy, he comes up with the badass finish. Well, guess what's going to happen? We're going to try and top that. And it competes. And then you see these guys are competing.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You did double joint lines. I'm going to do triple joint lines, full joints.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, I'm going to do this border with this. I'm going to put a border over here. And then I'm going to put a compass over here. Now everybody's buying compasses.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm like, it just keeps evolving. And it's
cool.
It's a beautiful thing to see.
Yes, it is.
Because people are making themselves better. They could just be that one whole show all the time, or they can. I got an arsenal of I can be a badass.
They're learning. So it's not only just a venting session, or help me with this thing. What happened here? It's, hey, I'm going to go to this platform, this forum, and maybe learn a new skill.
Yep. I mean, I learn something new almost every day on that page. I mean, almost every day I learn something, or I can tweak something to my better, and then that just gave me knowledge. Well, now if somebody asks in a couple of weeks, oh yeah, I remember this post, let's refer them to these questions. I remember the answer that they gave him, and how he came up with this. So now I can kind of pass that knowledge on too, because that post is long gone already, and I can't probably remember who the heck put it on.
So do you have any, going back to your finishing days, mentors, folks that did not necessarily have to be in the concrete industry, you could be in the wrestling community, whatever, but, talk to us about some of the people that really inspired you to be who you are today.
Booger Dave at Builders Concrete, he was a badass dude. He was my foreman for a long time, and then he's the one that actually said, "Hey, AJ's coming on my crew," because I was on being a labor and on foundations and stuff, and he knew my reputation already. He said, "I'm going to pull him over," and then I was already a foreman on a foundation crew. I'm bringing AJ over, and this is a big company. I'm bringing AJ over with me to start finishing. And then he taught me stuff, and he was a badass dude. And he had a 20-foot strike off. He'd always pull a 20-foot strike off by himself.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, it was incredible, man. And he didn't want nobody to touch the strike off.
Oh no.
And then I remember that one day, he's like, we're running behind, cut those joints. I said, who's going to help me snap the lines? He said, you don't need no fucking lines. Make it happen. And I did, man. And all of a sudden I was like, dude, I don't even need a snap line anymore because of that guy. And then I had so many other mentors. I probably had like 5 great ones in my career.
Yeah.
And I took something from each of those guys, and then I created it into myself too.
You made your own.
Yeah.
And I'm sure then you've passed on.
Yeah.
That
information. I love teaching.
Totally.
I tell everybody, any workers I've ever had, I said, if you're willing to learn, I'm going to make you a badass. Those are my true words out in the field. If you don't want to learn, then I can see it. I can tell if somebody don't want to learn. I'm not going to put my effort into it.
Right.
I'll teach you what you need to do to get the job done. But am I going to help you get better? No, until you want to learn. That's when I'll start really teaching my secrets.
Yes, sir.
And people just gravitate. And I made some really good concrete guys. I made a lot of really good concrete guys in my lifetime, in my career.
Well, and it's cool to pass that information along, and then see someone grab that and take it honestly to the next level, and then move on. Right? It's like I love to see people succeed and not just stay underneath me and work for me, but moving on to something better.
A lot of guys that I trained didn't really even know concrete or were new to concrete. All those guys I trained, 75% of them are all foremen, Some of them are estimators now too.
Yeah.
Some of them are superintendents.
Yeah.
I mean, because they had me backing them in the beginning.
Right.
You know, I'm not cocky.
No.
I'm confident. You know, but it's just like, you know, I feel really good about teaching all those guys something.
Yeah.
You know, it felt
Well,
good.
you got heart.
It's like teaching my sons.
Yeah.
You know, teach. You know, it's like
Teaching kid.
it's like
That's the coaching coming out in you.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what the heart is on your hand there?
Well,
I see this.
The heart, and they actually that's because of my heart. And like when I'm driving, I if I've got to drive far, I'll write it on my hand,
I see that.
both sides.
I see that. Yeah.
Because if I got to get out of the car and I pass out on a on a highway, that's on my left hand, and maybe they'll see it.
Oh.
But it does mean, you know, I look at it and I'm like, oh yeah, I got a lot of heart.
Well, yes, and probably reminds you as you're driving and maybe getting too intense.
Yeah.
I probably should calm down a little bit.
Well, yeah, I don't get too excited, really, you know, but
Yeah.
you know, I just do that as a precaution. That's just on me. My wife always says, "Why don't you just get it tattooed?" Well, will they read a tattoo? Or will they read some stupid Sharpie?
Probably the Sharpie.
Yeah,
Sharpie.
exactly. They're not going to pay attention to my tattoo.
That's awesome. So as far as you said, the virtuals are going good, the page is going good, life is going good. The trajectory of that Facebook page obviously is just going to keep growing, right? And just keep managing that, and obviously you love that. So
We have some other ideas that we're going to, because one day we might not have Facebook. So we have ideas how we're going to back this up.
Zuckerberg might not be around.
We're already talking about having ways to back it up. So
Okay.
I'm already moving to that next step in case, you never know what happens.
Right.
But
I mean, it could be your own direct forum, right? Your own website outside of
yes,
the policed Facebook forums.
Well, AJ, if there's anything you can give the audience some wisdom on all these finishers, what would it be?
In this day and age,
work to be the best you can be.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to make money, there's so much money to be made out there. As a laborer, as a finisher, as a carpenter, you can be a wall stripper for the rest of your life. You know, it doesn't really matter. Be the best that you can be. And I always tell a lot of guys, this is one of the things I tell a lot of guys when they're starting out. Pick the best guy on the crew, work to get better than his ass. Let's go. And eventually make it a competition, inner competition, and a friendly competition. You don't talk shit to the guy or anything like that.
Right.
Work to be better than him. Pick the best guy. When you're done with that guy, pick another guy that you want to learn something from that guy. Get better than him. You don't have to tell him, oh, now I'm a badass, I'm better than you, and brag. You just work yourself to make yourself better.
Yes, sir. You got to surround yourself with that top tier talent pool.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
100%.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for coming on.
This is awesome.
Appreciate
actually.
you. And I look forward to, the answers and solutions and, where we're going with a lot of these issues that the community's dealing with. Hopefully that, we can kind of bring some awareness and, bring some answers to the table for folks.
I'd love to bring you two guys on.
Absolutely.
On a panel also.
More so him. He said, I'm just talk. He's technical.
Well,
He's the
I
guy.
can tell-
Marketing guru.
I can tell what's going on here, so it's all good, man.
You know the relationship. Well, thanks again, brother.
Well,
Appreciate it.
AJ, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Hey,
Yes,
to all
sir.
you listeners, thank you. We look forward to seeing you again.
Until
Have a great
next
day.
time.